Hello, I'm Jan Edwards, and this is my new channel, Kintsugi Light, Illumined Humans. This is a channel for listening while you walk, while you work, while you drive, while you drink your tea and your coffee, while you rest, when you take time for yourself, for nurturing, for contemplation, self-discovery. This is a channel for you to receive the nurturing, the inspiration, the illumination, the recognition, the peace, the release, the love and the light and the reconnection. This is a variety of illuminations with many topics told through many platforms and reflections. So when you visit again, please check the building playlist. As I build it, you will see it. And always stay for the last 2 minutes of every transmission for an illumination reminder. And notice when you have felt seen, when you have felt loved, when you feel illuminated and intuitively directed by what you hear in my video offerings, and engage in this flow of energy circulation by leaving a comment or liking the video or subscribing or sharing. And if you would like a unique and personal private session or a reading or a transmission for any specific theme or outcome, please send me a message. My email and contact is in the description box below. I'm also available for ghostwriting, editing, creative advisement, and narrating. My soul's mission and desire for incarnating into this human experience is to guide you back to your aliveness, or maybe to coming alive for the first time by removing the chains around your hearts, as that was done through me, by me, and for me. Your invitation is to let your fear fall to the wayside and to guide your precious ego back to its position as faithful servant to your heart, and to allow your heart to break open. Because when you do this, you reveal your light, that divine electricity and power that you are made of, because you're on a journey. You're on a journey to knowing who you have always been, but didn't see it or believe it. You are an extension of the creator of all that is, made of the same energy. Light and love is the fabric of your being. What you perceive as flaws and wounds and cracks are just your visual experience in this physical dimension. These are yet the holders of the love and the light. This is your Kintsugi light. The more you open yourself and love yourself, the more you will become the illumined human. You are powerful, more magical, creative, magnetic, and inner sourced than you can possibly imagine. Everything you need is in you. You don't have to wait for that outside possession, that person, that situation, that cure, that recognition. All of those are placebos, because you are the holder of your own power to align and heal and live a life that you've never been told you could. So you never had to wait for anything outside of you. You are the one you've been waiting. So the first time I can remember being conditioned not to speak my truth was when I was a sophomore or maybe a junior, coming home at the end of homecoming dance. And as my mother was asking me questions, I was so tired, I just wanted to go to bed. And finally, she pushed me to the point where I didn't have the energy to continue. And I said how I felt. I said what was on my mind. And my mother slapped me across the face. She had a huge hand and a fierce energy, hard right across my face so that my whole head turned. And she said, "Don't talk back to me." The next time I can remember being conditioned not to speak my truth, of course, there are many times in my life, but this particular one was when my mother had cancer and she was staying with my husband and me for a few days. And at one point, toward the end of her stay, she could tell that something was on my mind, and she asked me to talk with her. And she said that she could tell something was on my mind, and I didn't want to tell her what was on my mind. I told her, no, it's okay. She said, well, I think you need to. And I said, no, I don't want to. It would hurt you. And she said, no, I'm fine. You need to share what's on your mind. I can handle it. So I did. And just as I thought, she was devastated, or shall I say, her perspective was wounded. And she stood up feeling so scorned and shocked and extremely emotional. She got her things and grabbed her cane and walked her way fiercely out of our living room, down our driveway, and to her car and said, "You are not my daughter. I never want to see you again." My husband's aunt came running out trying to calm her and, comfort her, but she wasn't having it. She wasn't having any comfort. So a few days went by. I didn't know what was going to happen. I was shocked. I thought, I don't know if she's for real or not. I don't know if she really means that. I mean, it was, how do you react to that? So I received a letter in the mail. She said, don't contact me. Well, it was about a 4-page letter, but the basic gist of it was don't contact me. And don't send me pictures of Jeffrey, which he was my son at the time. He was probably 5.5. And don't tell her how he's doing because she doesn't want to know. She basically said, yes, she knew she was a walking wounded and that she had many scars, but she needed to be left alone to be the wounded human that she was. And she basically dismissed me, never to communicate with me or see me again. A year went by, and then I received another letter. She wanted to see me. I did. A few weeks later, she went into the hospital. She had breast cancer at the time. And I was supposed to go away on a weekend trip with my best friend. And I said to my mother, no, I'm going to cancel it. I'm not going to go. I'm going to stay here. And she said, no, I want you to go. You need to go. I want you to take care of yourself, because if you take care of yourself, then I know you'll be okay and I don't have to worry about you. So I did. And I came back 3 days later and she had slipped into a coma. And 3 days later, she died. So I never got to see her again. These were the deepest of many conditionings that caused the deepest wounds, at least the ones that I can remember. There may have been others at a very early age but I can't really recall them at this time. But there was always a thread of fear running through me. This fear was like, I don't want to fully be seen. I can't fully be heard, as if I had to be quiet. Even with my breath, I had to be silent or partially hidden. I couldn't express my true self to anyone. And of course, this is the deep wound of the inner child, the need to be seen and loved and fully expressed and safe and protected and cared for, because it goes into hiding, this inner child, when it feels unsafe and unloved. And in wanting to be healed and protected and seen and made feel safe and forgiven for what it thinks it did wrong, it brings in new scenarios during the rest of its life, new people and situations, replaying the pattern, the script, hoping for a different outcome, always searching to heal that deep core wound. And so I found myself calling in relationships and friendships where I wanted to speak my truth. I wanted to feel loved. I wanted to feel valued. I wanted to feel safe to be myself without being mocked or abandoned or violated or abused. And at times I tried, and then many times I was met with mockery and abandonment and anger. So this, little by little, of course, caused a pattern of behavior where I dimmed my light. I dimmed my brilliance. I dimmed my heart. Slowly, the chains of protection, the invisible energetic covers, the armor, insidiously comes up without our knowing it over the years. I dimmed my intelligence, my intuition, my humor, my sense of fun and lightness and free-spiritedness that was part of my essence. I dimmed my expansiveness. I basically kind of closed myself and boxed myself in to a limited version where I could always be on guard in case I made the wrong turn or said the wrong thing or said too much or laughed too loud. I remember vividly in 5th grade answering a question the teacher asked. And after I answered, one of the students stood up and yelled back to me across the room in a sarcastic tone, "Ignorant Jan." Over and over again, I stayed inside the safety of that wound, not showing, not daring. This all began to change through the years, exponentially in 2020. And the chains around my heart completely broke wide open in 2020 when my son died. He died of cardiac arrest. Nothing to do with the blood or the heart or the health or cholesterol. It's electrical impulses from the brain down the spinal column through the nerves, this electrical messaging system that we all have that guides our blood circulation and our systems and our organs to function, our muscles to function. So this spark of electricity just stopped. So the heart didn't have the direction to keep beating, and it stopped. And when his heart stopped, my heart blew wide open. And I began to come more fully out and show the uniqueness of my being, my signature essence, my spark, the intricacies and nuances that I had been hiding basically inside because I didn't know anyone else like me. I didn't know anyone else who could feel what I felt, could walk into a room and feel the thoughts and the feelings and immediately know the vibrational frequency of the space and know what was going on behind closed eyes, closed mouths, closed doors, closed hearts. But this closing down, this limiting self, this hiding, this dimming the light, this is not just my wound. This is your wound in some fashion, maybe not exactly, a variance. This is the collective wound of humanity. This is the wound that needs to be revealed in order to be healed. And it is in the act of self-love and revealing the true self that the healing is done. I think the time is now, well, it has been, not just now, of the acceptance of this wound and this healing alignment capacity. It's really not a healing, it's an alignment, which I'll describe and transmit in another video. But this is what we're being called to do now. Not really working harder or doing more or going faster, but being all of ourselves, to silence the mouths and to be in the body, to open the chains around the heart and to let that guide our way. So I have learned how to allow myself not to be afraid to share the truth that I see, that I know, that I feel. But I do it upon either an invitation or an inner calling. And I am definitely becoming a master at doing this with compassion. The compassion that has come from years of experience and personal wounds that have allowed me to learn that loving myself is the key that unlocks the door to being in this love and light fabric frequency that we are. Do you know why you hear them say over and over again that you must be willing to take the leap? Do you know what that means? Or what it means when they say, take a step into the unknown, into the void, and the bridge will appear? Picture yourself standing on the precipice. Picture yourself with wings, huge wings. You've been so afraid to raise your arms and let your wings unfurl because you think you'll fall off, because you've never used your wings before. You don't know if they'll work. You don't know if they're real. They are real. And when you stand on the precipice with your arms down, afraid to spread your wings every time the wind comes or the storm comes, you do fall. But it's not because the world is a scary place, even though that seems the truth. It's not because you're not capable or strong enough or worthy enough or powerful enough. It's because every wind and every storm is the opportunity to lift you from the fall and carry you. Now picture this. You stand on the precipice and you raise your arms and you open your heart and you move your energy out of your head, down the elevator shaft, into the heart, and you expand it. And as you expand your heart, you surrender to the full power of your heart. And with that surrender to something greater than you have ever known, you raise your arms and you open your heart all the way, and you know that you're here on this journey because you were called here. You have important energy and work to do for the planet, for humanity, for the expansion of consciousness. So you hold your arms up and you let your beautiful, expansive, massive wings unfurl, and you wait for the wind and the storm. And when it comes, the air lifts you and you fly. And you realize that the winds and the storms of life are your friends. They have always been your friends. They have always been waiting for you to trust them, to know that you are powerful. You are not the placebo. You are the real deal because you are here for a reason. If you are still here, you are meant to be here and you are meant to fly. So let's get real. What are your wings exactly? Does that mean your body parts? Does that mean you actually have wings? Is it a tangible thing or is it a metaphor? Your wings are your energy. Your wings are your deep inner knowing. That which lights you up. That excitement, exhilaration that you keep hidden because you don't want to be judged by others. You don't want your face slapped. You don't want to be abandoned by someone who's supposed to love you. You don't want to be mocked in the middle of your class or your group. You don't want to be judged by people who don't know what the heck you're talking about. Your wings are your knowing of the truth of who you are and why you're here and what you're here to do. Your wings are your knowing that you are not alone, that you are fully supported by this quantum reality, quantum physics, higher heart, adamantine particles, God, source, the creator of all that is, the laws of the universe, energy, frequency, love, and spirit. Your wings are your faith in yourself and your higher self. Your wings are your trust in your heart and your openness to your gifts. Your wings are your willingness to walk and be in your light, to walk in your glistening gifts, in your truth, in your words, in your power, in your full self-expression. What allows your wings to lift and spread and fully unfurl is your unwavering knowing in the unseen, the non-physical aspects of you and everything that brought you here. If you're not exactly sure what your wings are, what your knowing is, but you want to know, I'm here. I'm here for you. Sometimes it only takes one person to see you, the you that you didn't believe was true, the you that is so beautiful, so gifted, just waiting to be ready, waiting to be seen. I see you through the layers of the stories and the pain and the struggle and the wounds, through the labels and the boxes that the world told you to put yourself in, through the reasons and the excuses that you've told yourself to defend why you're not expanding and rising and loving, through the false starts and the deflated balloons of your dreams, through all the people who have hurt you. I see through all of that, all of the masks and the faces that you've put on to be accepted, to please the world, to make it through one more day. The cracks and the wounds only needed to be revealed, to be healed. So allow your light to shine. Even if you don't see it or feel it, just go into that space of your heart and let those tears fall. Your light is so bright that if you saw it, it might blind you with its radiance. Your light is what makes you who you are. There's no one else like you. The only sin is hiding your light. Thank you for listening.